What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward and some very important things coming out for next week as I give you guys a very quick overview. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks, and the offer ends tomorrow, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, looking at the way Tesla is moving, I just want to say that right now we're seeing a nice accumulation structure. We're forming a nice cup right here, and Tesla's holding up relatively well, in my personal opinion. It's also especially worth noting that Tesla is in the green today. Tesla held up relatively well, despite the fact that SPY and the QQQ are in the red. So, not bad for Tesla so far, and we have a very, very nice amount of data coming out very soon. I want to talk about that first before I break down the charts. So going into next week, as a reminder, on Monday, June 24th, we have Waller from the Fed giving a speech and Daly. For Tuesday, we have some important Richmond Fed manufacturing numbers and services numbers. And then we also have Bowman giving a speech. For Wednesday, we also have not really much coming out, very, very minor data. For Thursday, we have basically the GDP numbers coming out, not to mention initial jobless claims. And then finally, for Friday, we have notorious, the PCE data report, which is important for the Fed. So basically, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday are like more minor, and I would say Thursday and Friday are more important, as we have the PCE data report and very important GDP numbers, PCE, and also some Michigan data for Friday. But basically, the end of the week is going to be more intense for data, and the first couple of days are not as crazy. Then I also want to note that we have something important coming up. So this is going to be the last trading week of the month of June. That also means it's the last trading week of the second quarter of the year, and that's going to lead to some high volatility in the markets. We will see if this leads to a nice pump, a little dump, or something like that. I'll be very patient nonetheless and just see what this leads to. I just want to call that out, as that's going to be very, very important. So we'll see how things go, and we'll see how things end up looking. All the data I'm talking about is worth noting. For earnings, we just have FedEx on Tuesday. We have Paychex on a Wednesday, not to mention Nike on Thursday. And I think the week after this one, I would say as we approach July, we're going to start seeing a lot of big names. And, Tesla's earnings will be coming up in a few weeks as well. But before Tesla's earnings come out, as you guys already know, we have deliveries coming out too, and just about, I would say like 10 days for Tesla, or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. 10, 11 days, Tesla should be announcing deliveries. And it's going to cause a big move in the share price. I can't wait to see what it causes. For the VIX, right now, it's kind of neutral. We're still below the 50 daily moving average. We'll see how that changes. The puts and call option positioning is also kind of, it's starting to go up a little bit because we're starting to see a little bit more put buying than before. Besides that, market momentum is still extremely greedy, and we'll see how things shift moving forward. Elon Musk has been saying some very important things. He is saying Tesla's new AI supercluster will grow to over 500 megawatts. That's a record AI chip. That's absolutely incredible news because we're seeing some record-breaking performances. This is also going to be very, very useful for the Gigafactory expansion as this is developing. I think that's going to be very, very useful. Now, despite some of the issues that Tesla was having with expanding the Gigafactory. Tesla also know that they're going to be continuing to get 100 megawatt clusters in the Gigafactory by August. So, like I said, they're making a lot of progress. Before there were some hindrances, now they're just making the progress, and I'm still very, very excited about this. Uh, Also, it's worth noting that Tesla's working on a giant cooling system for these new components. That's going to be very useful and important for the Dojo supercomputer. Can't wait for that as well. Musk tweeted this right over here, that they have the HW5 coming out, which is going to be renamed AI5 in the second half of the next year. And then also Tesla's AI5 computer is going to have 10 times the capability of the hardware 4 computer, and Tesla is going to make the whole software stack. So very, very awesome stuff. Can't wait to see what this leads to for FSD and all these different developments. And it's just going to give them a lot more capabilities for computer learning. On top of this, Tesla has also been downsized by at least 14% this year, since Elon Musk said the layoffs would exceed 10%. Not the best news for Tesla. And the reason for that is because, yes, it does cut some expenses, but a lot of great employees are going to get laid off, which will affect a lot of systems. However, with that happening, it's not the end of the world, because once again, Elon Musk and Tesla will start rehiring in the future. Their total global headcount is going to be going down. So far, they've slashed more than 14% of their workforce, and Tesla's also down quite a bit. And with this happening, with all these drops in their overall headcounts, it's not great. It's really sad to hear that that's happening, but I'm still confident Tesla will be completely fine long term, especially as long as they maintain they keep their fundamentals and they continue to grow. So I'm not necessarily too worried about that. Anyways, now let's just talk about Tesla and the market. Keep in mind, guys, today is Friday evening, so I'm not going to make this video way too long. From the way I see things, Tesla has a nice accumulation structure right here. This also kind of resembles like a cup and handle. So I wouldn't be surprised if next week we go all the way up to about 185 for a little push. There is some upside potential for that reason. When I zoom out and go to the 4-hour time frame, what you will see is that we have a nice looking uptrend right here. We have this high that was kind of like breaking out here, came down, made a higher high, made a higher high. We're continuing to uptrend, we're continuing to push, and we're showing some life. On top of all of this, I just wanted to say that with this inverse head and shoulders, I think that this is looking pretty decent overall. We have a left shoulder here, we have a right shoulder. I think that there is more upside potential for this as long as the setup holds, as long as we hold above 167. So Tesla is doing a pretty good job and we're looking pretty good approaching the end of the month, which is exactly what I've been talking about for the last few weeks about how Tesla is going to build some nice momentum. So pretty good so far. How about for SPY? SPY is in the middle right now. We're actually stuck between supply and demand. So we're going to have to wait and see which way we break to really see the next move. But just note we're on a downtrend so far on SPY. If we continue the downtrend, we need to see if SPY kind of like fills this gap and then continues lower, or if it just drops down from here. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. Do we kind of like pop and then drop, or just drop from here? This depends on many different factors. Make sure you watch 545.8 as resistance. If this breaks, we have a gap fill above. Watch support at 544. If we lose this, we'll be dipping down to 542. There could be a pop and drop or a drop from here coming, so watch for that very carefully on SPY. For Nvidia is on a bit of a downtrend right now, but on the hourly time frame, we're approaching the 200 EMA. That's going to be this 125 area. If we lose this, 122 is coming. If we hold this, we'll be looking for 120, what is this? 8 to be retested. I think we might retest 128. I think there's going to be a little bounce on Nvidia, but we'll see if we break through that or not. So look for a little rebound and see how it reacts to resistance. For Bitcoin is on a bit of a downtrend right now. I think that this is something else that's worth noting. We have this nice little break of the 20 EMA right here, 64,000. If that breaks, I'll be looking for 64,500. If we lose this, we'll be tipping back down lower. My guts tells me it may pop and drop and then see some downside, so watch for that very, very carefully. For a few more, we also have the QQQ. The QQQ is kind of trading sideways right over here. We have resistance currently at 482, and we have support all the way down here around 479. My guts tells me this is going to try to rebound a bit to 482, but watch to see if we get a rejection or not. Because when you zoom out of the QQQ, okay, we still have this gap to fill down here. There's actually this nice little gap. We have actually two gaps. We have this one right here, and we have another one all the way down here towards 468. If we end up losing 478 and we start sinking lower, there's going to be a risk of us coming to at least possibly 470, if not the gap fill. So I do see a risk of that. So I'll be watching this carefully. I'm seeing some weakness for now, but considering that tomorrow is going to be not tomorrow, next week on Friday, we're going to have the monthly close for June. I'll be watching to see what that looks like just for us to continue. For Aapl is showing weakness on the daily. There's going to be a risk of this dipping lower to 202. However, on the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to actually on the hourly time frame, let me just double check that. We're showing some weakness right here. We're actually continuing to fall, and our 200 EMA is once again showing weakness too. So we could rebound a bit, retest like the 210 area, then start dipping lower, or we could just start dipping from here to start sinking. I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case, but we'll see how things end up developing here. For Supermicro, we have a nice head and shoulders like structure kind of showing some weakness. There's going to be a risk of this dipping down lower if we fail to reclaim 900. If that's the case, we could be dipping down to about 858 to 860. For Coinbase, we're trying to rebound a bit to look for a test of 228. If we break this, look for a push for 233. If we lose that, we could like pump and then reject there, but I still think 228 is going to be tested, so we'll see what the move is. Amazon's on a bit of an uptrend right over here, trying to push up higher. We're making higher highs and higher lows. We could be pushing for 190 if that continues. Pretty good so far. For Meta, we're on a bit of a downtrend right now. We're making lower highs and lower lows. I think we might actually retest 496. Once we test this, see if we kind of reject or not. And might try to test that, might try to go a little higher, but watch and see if we get that rejection to look for a test after a little bit of a push. On top of everything else, I just wanted to mention that we have a nice pump up here towards this 450 area. If this breaks, we are going to go higher. If this fails, we're going to get a rejection. As of right now, Microsoft has more potential, so watch for that. It's looking bullish, but watch resistance just to be safe. Google's looking pretty good. Alphabet could decline just a little bit. I could see this actually kind of cool off on the RSI a bit, retest 180, and then see if we get a bounce off that. So look for a little cool down, and then we'll continue from there. For GameStop, we're actually kind of dipping a bit. We could be retesting 22 and watch and see if we get a bounce or not from there. For AMC, we're also on a bit of a downtrend. I'll be watching to see how this ends up reacting to basically this gap fill. So watch for that, and we'll see how things go from here. But anyways, guys, I want to kind of conclude the video from here. Let me just make it very, very clear that at least for the way Tesla's looking, we're still range bound, so give it some time, but there is going to likely be a nice push coming. So I think we might be looking for 185 next week, so long as there's no bad news. So I see potential in Tesla. Anyways, I'll give you guys more insights going into tomorrow and also later on. So I just wanted to say I appreciate all you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy, your Friday night going into Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow for another update, and then we'll see how things go from there. But thank you for listening, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy what life has to offer, and peace out.